Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Coffee. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation. Good evening and welcome back to Computerized Start Live. I am your host, Justin D. Morgan. And boy, oh boy, do we have some Mac stuff tonight. Let's see here who we have in the chat so we can get the show on the road. We have Dave's Vintage Apple Tech. Hi, Dave. We have Sloopy Malibu. Hi, Sloopy. We have Francois. Hi, Francois. Yes, I am just in time, apparently. Yes. We have .5. Hi, .5. Early for once. Yay. Got Bombs asking, is it just in time? Yes, it is. We have GeoHam. Hi, GeoHam. Hi. Hi, Jason. Let's see here. We also have Jesse, I8386SX. Hi, Jesse. We have Callan. Hi, Callan. Francois says, now I know what the D stands for. Justin Delayed Morgan. Nice try. That's not it. Haha. Let's see here. GeoHam asks, hopefully the regretful eBay packages didn't tackle him coming down to the basement. No, because I only brought 2 potential regrets, but I might be jumping ahead of myself tonight. Some of them I left upstairs because they are not Mac related, although one of these isn't Mac related either, but it's small. We have Trina's Technobabble. Hi, Trina. Asking if I forgot to press the go live button. No, OBS decided that one of my cameras was not going to work until I messed with some things, and then it started working. So I'm sure I'm going to find something else that's broken as collateral damage. I did at least check that, well, that camera's now working, and my audio source did not change in those shenanigans, so hopefully I sound normal, and not like I'm talking to a camera I don't know that I'm talking to. We have RetroTech Chris. Hi, Chris. Chris says, wait, is this a Monday? I'm confused. Yeah! The Monday stream thing is working out really nice. Chris is warning me that... Did I get a new beam in the basement? No. Probably what happened is I bumped the camera so you can see more of the beam than normal. And Chris is warning me that my pal is growing at his house. Yay! Capcom's asking, are either of those regrets from Memory Masters? No, they are not. They are not. Let's see here. We got the coffee goal. The month is almost over. Link is in the description. And without further ado, I think it's time for the following.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Justin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
All right, and we have 2 small potential regrets. Oh, Chris says, I had a seller cancel my eBay order today because he tested the memory to sell me and it failed the test. Wow. All right, so this first item comes to us from an eBay seller in New York. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in New York. This is a nice small little package here. Yes, I will probably, though, I will probably have to order some memory for Memory Masters soon. Because I think I've got a Dell behind me that needs memory. And I don't think I've got memory on hand for it. Alright, we have... Oh, I love it! Packaged in a Anti-static. Oh, but it's a double zipper bag. We have a PCM CIA card. And not just any PCM CIA card. As you might have noticed on the label, this one has an X jack with a bent pin. Well, that's odd. Alright, well, I think I can probably straighten that pin back out. Maybe. You know, I thought an Ethernet cable had 8 conductors, and I only see 6 on this X-jack. Let's take the needle nose pliers, give it a gentle flatten. There we go. That should be good. Capum says, I've broken so many X-jacks. There we go. So there we go. Finally, a PCM... Chris says it might be X-jacked. Yeah, I'm afraid that could be the case. I do have a network cable floating to the side here. We can at least make sure that the X-jack plugs in. So the nice thing is, you don't have a dongle to lose. You just plug the cable in. And the fingers make contact with the network cable. It does look like it is working, and I think they're all touching. So anyways, yeah, all right. So there we go. That's item number 1. A PCM CIA card. This will unfortunately not work with the Macs we are going to be looking at. And then the second item comes to us from an eBay seller in Tennessee. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Tennessee. I'm going to open this very carefully. And what do we have in here? We have what I hope... Hi, Frogman, welcome! What I hope are the correct filters for Claris. So we are going to find this out right now, because I'm going to... Yes, I'm going to tempt fate. Actually, you know, probably what I should do, to make cleanup a little easier, is put a paper towel down. And then that filter I have had to reuse more times than I want to admit. I might as well remove the solder from that. All right, so now let me grab one of these little filters here. We are going to do a size comparison with the original filter, and it does appear to be a match. Let's go ahead and... Oh, I can put it on the right way. So basically, the metal piece goes directly against the spring. That's what catches the solder. And then the filter goes behind that to keep the solder from getting sucked into the tube. That would probably be bad. Although there is a filter on the station side. Alright. Now, oh, if I can get the, oh. Alright. The trickiest part is to get the cylinder back in. There we go. And then, there we go. Well, yeah, I think that's right. There we go. Now it's all together again. And while I am at it, oh, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. All right. Now I'm going to take the paper towel. I'm going to wipe up the powder there. And now I'm going to put the extra filters in my spare parts drawer so that I don't lose them. And then there we go. Yep, that concludes Wheel of Regrets. Frogman says, gosh, anytime I see anything for sale on Facebook Marketplace, it's either in UK, Canada, or West East Coast lol. Yeah. Oh, Frogman is in Seattle, Missouri. Yeah, it seems like I get a lot of Facebook Marketplace sales that are in, yeah, random places in the US, never next door, and sometimes in the UK or some other European country. Like I'm going to fly and then pay for a second airline seat to bring the fragile item back. Anyways, alright, now we are going to go on to the main event. And as promised, we are going to start with the power supply from the Quadra 650 I bought from Gut Bomb. And now, let's see if I can find the cap kit for it. This is an Aztec AA15831. AA15381. Alright, it should be that one right there. Whew. Wow, look at that fan. Alright, so let's go ahead and see here. I think to open the power supply. Oh, no, I think we do have to unscrew the top. And then I think the fan will slide out. Oh, no, there is a plastic clip on... there we go. There's a plastic clip on the bottom of the power supply. And then I think the fan will slide out. Capub says, I hate these power supplies. Sorry, not sorry I left it to you. Alright, so maybe, just maybe, someday I will manage to get the clips. I think there is something else holding this fan in. There we go. I think I got the clips inside the metal piece. So now, hopefully, I should be able to pull the fan straight out. There's something. Feels like there's another clip. Hi, Joe. Welcome. I am glad you were able to get our orders out today, Joe. I'm also thinking that if anyone had a video sponsored by Linode this past weekend, it would have been awkward if the video had come out. Because apparently Linode had an outage at one of their East Coast data centers due to a cooling issue. Although it was like, well, they first called it a cooling issue, but yeah, I've read their status updates. I was curious. But the more you read into it, it seems like they had a power outage that caused a cooling issue. Yeah, Gutbump says that was not cool of Linode. Yeah. I don't know exactly. 25 hours. That's like. There we go. Oh, yeah. Okay, there we go. So you do have to. Yeah, you have to remove the fan to get the top off. Yeah, I don't know what service level you have with them, but it kind of seems like they had something happen that was possibly outside their control. I kind of. Or something they didn't control very well that maybe they should have. I don't know. Yeah, one day outage. Times how many small businesses use Linode? That's a lot of businesses down. Joe says it's a data center in a modern cloud-based world. A power outage should have had literally zero effect. Yeah, seriously. I think their I think their outage was multiple reasons. I'm kind of wondering if they honestly, reading some of the updates, I'm kind of wondering if their backup generation capability was not sized appropriately for the number of servers and the cooling capacity needed for said number of servers. So what should have been a simple power outage. And then they must have had some server that didn't come back up when they got the power generation problem fixed. Yeah, Joe says they probably didn't put the HVAC system on the genset. The generator circuit. Why is the data center so hot? Yeah, and then they probably had to wait for the data center to cool back down before they can power servers back up. And oh, that's right. Okay, remember, folks, you got to remove this plastic piece first. Otherwise, no amount of trying to turn these little plastic tabs and push them in will not have an effect. Because, yeah, if you read the Linode status updates, at some point, the status updates admit that whatever happened in their data center in New Jersey had a cascade effect to like 4 of their other data centers. I think Washington and Australia, and I think one in Europe. So, yeah. Anyways, there we go. Now that's out. All right, I should probably give my disclaimer of if you don't know what you're doing, then you probably shouldn't be recapping a power supply. Also fun. Ah, there's a component leg. It probably picked it up from my bench. Anyways, this power supply has been off for quite a while, so that's why I didn't even... I just went straight to opening it up. Yes, capacitors do work via the laws of physics, and a capacitor is not going to hold a charge for as long as this has been off. Whew. There we go. We got some REFA caps already in view. Alright, so I think in order to get the boards out, I think I do have to remove this. Which, nope, neither of those are the right size. That's not going to fit. Alright, I'm probably going to need to go find... may have to go find a socket. Or at least something that's got... Do I really have to remove that? Or are we caught up on something else? Alright. Oh, hold on. Now that I think about it, I don't think I have to remove the plugs. I think I just have to remove the cover here. It's been a while since I've worked on one of these power supplies. Oh, nope, that cover is held on by that nut. That nut is in just the most awkwardest space. There we go. Alright, there we go. So now there's a nut, and I think there's a washer on top of the nut. Yep, and that wire should come off. And I think now, if I get that wire off, I think this cover will come off, and then see any more screws over here. Oh, that's lovely. There's one of those paper film caps under this shield. Well, there's the. Okay, there are no more screws. Oh, there. Well, okay, so there's a screw on the bottom PCB, but I can't get to it. Oh, that's why that shield's not coming off. Okay. All right. Here's the deal. There's two cables connecting the Or there's two cables on this bottom power supply board. Or this top. Yeah, the top power supply board. One of them is attached to the bottom board. The other one is the connector. There we go. Oh, okay. Okay, so there was a cable that was hanging us up that I should have unplugged. There's another one. Alright, by chance, can I now get a screwdriver down in here? Oh, yeah, there we go. I think you have to remove that screw. Conveniently located underneath everything. And now I bet... Oh. And a nut on the side of the power supply. You know, I thought I'd worked on this supply before, but I don't think I have worked on this model, because this looks like it was designed for non-maintainability. Alright. There we go. Okay, so if I unplug this cable... There we go. Now we're going somewhere. Well, I'm hoping to... 0.5 says getting it apart is almost as painful as putting it back together again. Yeah, unfortunately. Hopefully I will put it back together tonight so that I can more likely remember how it went together again. Or how I took it apart. There we go. And now... Oh. Yeah, I think when I put it back together, I will probably reverse the overlap on that right there. All right. All right. Now, see if I can get this other board out, because there are two safety caps on it that need replaced. There's one. Two. And... there we go. I guess the power connectors don't come out. Yep. Well, that one, there's one of those paper film capacitors right there, and 0.5 says the Delta brand is worse, though. Yeah. Hi, Mega. Welcome. those of you just joining, I almost have this thing apart to where I can start replacing capacitors. I would like to remove this module here, but I don't know. I don't know if it's removable. Kind of looks like it's press fit in place. Alright, we may just have to replace. Okay, so I think. Alright, so at least there. I can separate this board. I just gotta remember to plug that back in. I think that's the relay, or the power for this, the coil of this relay to turn probably the pass-through power on. Alright, so there's that. This board is soldered. And I don't think I'm going to be able to desolder it. Oh. Yeah, well, I tore my glove. Alright. Oh, I think I see how I see how this module's held in. 0.5 says the board may pull straight up. It might. Maybe. 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 Because that's pushed in. Maybe it does. Maybe that is the direction it comes out. It's sort of budging. Oh, yeah. Okay, here. I think I know how to get this out. Okay. Let me find a... This might work. Good. Good sleuth work. There we go. There we go. Yeah, alright. I could tell there were tabs in there, but I couldn't tell which way the metal was grabbing it. Good sleuthing. That it was... Alright, well, I got a nut that I'm not sure exactly where it goes, but we'll figure it out. Alright, so... The first item that I'm going to do is... Oh. Actually, let's let's organize the caps. Yep, that module does have some reefas on it. At least one. So, if anyone was wondering what the reefa count is, we have one. Oh, wait a minute. Well, there's one, at least one in there. 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 little reefa caps. Ah. Okay, let's sort these caps. Try to make it easier. So we do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort the caps based on, do they go on this assembly or do they probably go on the other board? So I know these caps go on the other board. Let's see here. So these two caps are a 400 volt, 400 volt, 4.7 microfarad. Wow, that's a spicy voltage. All right, well, that one should be easy to find. That's 16 volt. That's 16 volt. That's 25 volts. 35 volts. 16 volts. There we go. 4.7. 400 volts. All right, so that one goes on this board. The other one is a 35 volt. I think 100 microfarad. All right. Yep, that one there. All right, and then in terms of safety caps, we've got two 47,000s. So that's going to either be the green ones or the blue ones. Probably, because read writing that is There we go. Oh, there we go. These are the All right. Well, that's not going to work. All right, hold please. I don't think that's a 47. The 3 in 3. Well, that's not a 47. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh, here they are. I didn't realize there was a second one of these. I think these say. There we go. Say 47 2. There we go. Those are the ones I'm looking for. Hi, Jim's Retro Stuff. Welcome. All right, so those are the replacements for those two. So we found. So we found these two caps, and now I'm going to have to desolder the last one because the marking is on the top of it, and the top of it is on the wrong side for reading. That will also be when we see if there's another one of those caps hiding behind the first one. Because something tells me there might be. Alright, so alright. So alright, well, I'll try to get this cap out. For anyone that was watching Dave's stream yesterday, you might have seen that I had recapped a power supply for a PC. And if anyone's curious, the PC would not post. Despite the fact the voltages are spot on. So, congratulations, me. You have another fault to troubleshoot. The good news is I have a parts board for this particular computer. The bad news is the reason I have a parts board for the computer is because the original motherboard had a fault, and it was a really weird fault that I was afraid was going to be hard to solve. So I actually bought a I bought a second motherboard for it, which has apparently failed since the last time I used the computer. So, yay me. Hey, but at least the power supply seems to be working great now. Alright, so Jesse says I've been on a support call for the past 2 hours. But at least I left the stream running the whole time. Yay! Watch hours. cap isn't glued in place, is it? I bet it is. There we go. This is a something. Oh, and look, there is a second one hiding behind the first one. How lovely! That is so cute. I love the little hidden refa capacitors. There we go. It's a 1,000 picofarads. So that's going to be the nope. It's going to be the blue ones. It's got to be the blue ones. Because those two there said 33, which is going to match the ones on the other board. Yep, all right. By process of elimination, got to be the blue ones. All right, so we'll set those there. I believe that is all the caps for these boards. Now, the fun part's going to be getting to that other capacitor. Because I can probably get it out, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to replace it. Short of removing this PCB. All right. Oh, all right. Let's try this. I think. It is the type of cap I need to replace. Hey, Jack, welcome. Let me desolder the power leads coming off of this module. Hey, yes. Apply heat to wire. Wire becomes hot. Right. They are marked line and neutral on the top of the board. There's a method to my madness. First step is to get these two wires out of this board out of the way. Okay, there we go. Now that board's out of the way. Next, in order to get that refa cap, I need to desolder this PCB from the plug. So let me go ahead and remove the ground because it's got a wire soldered to it as well. Oh, that's actually good. All right, so the ground wire goes through a hole in the prong for secure soldering. All right, now I'm going to desolder the rest of these. And this should let me pivot this board up enough to get the safety cap out and probably get the two in a little easier. Now, granted, I'm not going to have much working room because these are awfully short wires. And I'm going to try to remove as few of these as possible so I don't accidentally get wires mixed up when I reassemble. Let's see if this will now rock off of the connector. No, I still have solder. All right. There we go. Oh, there we go. And now, Jesse says I'm back hopefully for a while. Yay! Aha! There we go. The reefer cap of sadness. Because if you forgot it was there and didn't replace it, you would be sad when it goes poof. All right, while I wait for Claris to warm up, let me go ahead and I'll go ahead and put the replacement in here. I mean, Jesse says I have to be at work at 1 a.m. Ooh. All right, there we go. One replaced, one old one still. Singe the ground wire there a little bit, but it should be fine. Oh, that's just things sitting on top of my desoldering station that are rattling. All right, let's see. All right, there we go. Second one in, or out, and in. There we go. I'll go ahead and slip the board back into place. Yes. Now, for probably anyone watching now knows why I was trying to put this power supply off, because it was intimidating me. Oh, I'm going to have to put some heat shrink on that wire. I nicked it. All right, well, I should be able to remove that pin and let's do this. And solder the two outer prongs. Beautiful. Now, let me put the wire back in. And that's probably needs to bend. There we go. That should be close enough to how it was originally. You know, I could probably zoom in a little bit. All right, now this is going to require a lot of heat. Go. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. And let me. There we go. Get the flux off the board, and then that's two capacitors down, and we're an hour and 15 minutes into the live stream. Excellent timing. I think parts of this power supply will go faster because it's not as embedded, shall we say. All right, I think that looks pretty good. All right, these wires will get later because those connect to the board that we're going to work on next. But there we go, two safety caps down. All right, let's go ahead and get this board here. So we've got 4 caps to replace. And the physically larger cap is, all right, let's go ahead and remove all 4 caps. Because this cap on the outside is the 400-volt cap. And the one on the inside is 35 volts. All right. I don't have any signs those are leaking. And then the 2 safety caps. There's 1 and 2. There we go. 4 caps out. I do see some. Hey, David, welcome. So these are where the 2 safety caps go, and there's just flux. There's flux on the board. That's all. And then under these other 2 caps, I don't see any signs of leakage. But this is a Quadra, and we like to take care of our Quadras because they're the best of what the 68K Max were. Jack says, just got eaten alive by mosquitoes. Ouch. All right, so let's see here. So, right, I like how Aztec marks the plus and puts a line for the negative. So there's the 400-volt cap right there. And here's the 35-volt cap. And then here's the 2. All right, pin spacing is just a little bit wider than the originals, but we'll make it work. There we go. Actually, let me do this. See if that fits any better. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Except though, I do usually like to put the markings of one of the caps at least facing out so I can more easily see what it is. Let me do that neat, kind of bend these leads a little bit so it fits a little better. There we go. There we go. Now you can see those are not REFAs. And the other caps, well, I got to align them with the polarity markings, so I can't be as choosy about the way they go in. But since the safety caps are non-polarized, I can put them in so that I can see the markings. And I'm going to solder one leg. And make sure the cap is flush with the board, or at least as flush as flush as that one's going to get. There we go. Yep, that looks good. All right, let's go ahead and get the rest of these soldered. Hi, hardware hacker. There we go. And that is board 2 of 4 down. Because there's a daughter board on the third board, so I'm counting it as 2 boards. All right, there we go. Nice, shiny, all new caps. And let's, a little flux cleaning on the board. I'm sure I'm cleaning Aztec's original flux as well. Oh, hey, thank you, hardware hacker. More money for more caps. Yay, thank you. There we go. That board's looking pretty good. And... all right. So there's 2 down. All right, before we go to the next board, all right, I'm not going to measure the paper. I'm not going to measure the reefa caps because they fail in ways that I don't think this meter would be able to show. Ah, okay, so this is a 4.7 microfarad cap. It's measuring 4.1. I guess that is still in spec. ESR is probably okay for that cap because it is a 400 volt cap. This is a 100 and it's measuring 108. Okay. Those caps probably weren't bad. I'm not sure if any of the caps are going bad yet. I just know. Actually, we'll measure. We'll measure them. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, this tester. Oh, that one's got a crack in it. That one might actually be bad because this tester didn't even sense that I put a component on it. Oh, maybe it can't test these style caps. No, it doesn't. It's not even detecting them. Hey, Will Junior 880, welcome. All right, so we just got that. All right, so let's see here. All right, so there are plenty of caps on this board. So we will start with the. All right, I think the way we'll do this is I will start with the large main filter caps, and then we'll work our way around the board. I'm blaming the tester. I mean, the tester might not have been designed to measure that style cap, or maybe it was programmed to detect if reef a cap, then just say it's bad. All right, actually, I need to use braid for those because they're too big for Claris. All right. So there we go. All right, there's one of them, and the other one is there. All right. Oh, did I? I might have missed. I often miss things in the chat, even when I'm trying to pay attention. More important that I don't burn my fingers. All right, so there we go. We got the two main caps out. Let's go ahead and test them. $440 microfarads. It's rated at 470, so that one's actually still in spec. 440, yep, that one's still in spec. So the originals are Nichicon 200 volt. Console 5, to replace them, goes up to 250 volts. Alright, no signs that those caps were leaking, so... Alright, we're going to... Make sure I get the stripes. Let me just double check that one. Yep. Alright. There we go. Yes, I am very focused on this power supply. I was very focused on the power supply on Dave's stream, too. Probably one of the streams next week, we'll take a look at the PC that now is no longer working. Despite the fact that I ever so nicely recapped its power supply. Now I'm curious what's gone wrong with it. No, Jack. The no longer working in that last time I used the computer, granted it was with a different power supply because the one I recapped was not, the voltages were low. But last time I used the computer, it posted it worked. I'm pretty sure I ran benchmarks on it. And then when I powered it up with the recapped power supply, after testing it using a different motherboard, so I had tested it with a different motherboard and confirmed the voltages were correct. And then I put it in the computer the power supply came out of, and it would not post. In fact, it seems to be dead, although I have misplaced my postcard. So I haven't actually stuck a postcard in it to see if it's generating postcodes. But needless to say, there's no video output, so, and no beeping. Alright, so we're removing the awful Rifa caps that... Actually, several of them I've removed so far have had little cracks in them, so... It is quite possible they were going to do what the cracked versions of these caps do best, and that's let you know they're in your computer in a smelly way. Jack says, for a few years now, most 2CIs have been in pretty rough shape. Okay, this power supply is from a Quadra 650. But yes, 2CIs, or what some game show announcers would call the 11 CI, have been in rough shape now for a couple years. Oh, it's probably on my bench. It's just probably yet another example of out of sight, out of mind. Quite honestly, probably underneath something, and I'll be embarrassed when I find it. I am tempted to put an air tag on it when I find it again. Yeah, I saw it. let me just put it this way. I wouldn't trust the postal service with my postcard. They'd probably lose it for years, and then when they delivered it, it'd be postage due for. Sir, the postage rate on postcards has gone up. You're going to have to pay more now. But you lost it. Yeah, we're the postal service. We get to make up the rules. I know, jokes are flying over my head. It's Monday. And I'm just focused on this power supply because I want to get it done tonight so I can put it back together tonight so that I don't forget how it goes back together. Thank you. All right. So now we've nice teal capacitors there. So let's see here. We've got, so there are two capacitors on this daughter board. Which I may have to remove the daughter board to get them out. Oh, they just, it just might be accessible. Now, then again, I don't want to melt wires. Trina says, you and your crazy logic putting something back together in the same night. Sometimes I can have lofty goals. David Starbucks is fascinating. I don't know why I'm going to this daughter board next. Maybe because I find it slightly intimidating. Because technically the next capacitors around are... Oh, probably because I thought it'd be easier to get some of the capacitors around it too, so... Alright. Alright, let's see here. There are some capacitors underneath it. Or a capacitor underneath it. Oh, wait a minute. Is there? Oh, that's why it wouldn't come out. There's a tab on the one side of the board. All right. Well, that makes it even more unlikely that I'll put the board in backwards. There we go. There's the daughter board out. Now I got full access. Hammer away. Hit it with a hammer. 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 Just not on a Quadra. Performa 600, yeah, hit that with a hammer all day. You can't add cache to it at all. Apple made it until you can't even add third-party cache, from what I've read. I guess Apple wanted to make sure you knew that you bought a Performa. Alright, so that is a 50 volt, 4.7 microfarad, teeny tiny cute cap. Something tells me that the replacement is not as cute. David Starbucks says, "Hey, Joe, where are you going with that hammer in your hand with a Quadra?" I think Joe might be going to upgrade his web hosting to one that has multi-region redundancy. Why he needs a hammer to do it, I don't know. I'm going to Quadra this hammer. Let's see here. That's... Oh, there we go. One of these. Excellent. There we go. Okay, so the original caps have red marks on them, so I'm going to probably put green marks on the ones I replaced just so that I'm extra sure I don't start pulling caps I've already replaced. David Starbucks says hammers for aggressive negotiations. Yeah. Well, actually, if he really wants to negotiate, because I think their facilities in New Jersey, he should just have Steve threaten to start piling image writers on their property. Yeah, call now in the next 10 minutes and Steve will leave you a second printer absolutely free. Just pay for the separate shipping and handling charge of... If you have to ask, you don't want to know. Yeah, it could be Steve's Fancy Printer Emporium. All right, that is a 16 volt, 470 microfarad. If you have to ask how much the printer costs, our printers are wrong for you. extra bonus points if anyone can get Steve to put the Steve's Fancy Printer Emporium in one of his upcoming videos. I think that'd be hilarious. But I'm not totally convinced that one cap didn't leak, but I think it's just flux. There we go. That's better. There we go. Nice new cap there. I'll get a few replaced, then we'll test a few and go on from there. It would be good to know if any of these start testing bad. Because then I'll know to look even harder for potential electrolyte on the board. All right. How about let's get the one that's beside these two. I think is going to be this here. Yep. All right. This one is a 22035. Let me check console 5. It looks like I've got a 18025. This could be a case of they were out of the cap they normally use and went up a value. Let's see here, a 15831. Two, four. Oh, okay, yeah, I think that's the cap for there. Actually, I do believe that cap. Well, okay, it could be just dust underneath it, but that looks a little sus there. All right, well, we'll go ahead and use this cap. That's probably the replacement for that one. All right. All right. I do. I think I might have misplaced a cap somewhere. Or I probably knocked it on the floor. Okay, well, when I find it, I'll find it. All right. So I've replaced that one and that one. How about let's go ahead and remove this one, and then we'll test the four that I've. I think that's gonna be this one here. This is a 135. All right. Uh-oh, did I? Oh, please. I appear to have knocked a couple of. All right, hold please. I've way of missing a cap or two. All right, I don't know if. All right. Well, I don't see them on the floor. It must be on the bench. All right. I'm looking for a 100 microfarad. That's not it. 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 That one I don't think even came from this kit. It might have. That one's not it. I seem to have misplaced a one. Oh, there's that one. Did I grab the wrong recap kit? Alright, I'm probably going to have to go find a. Alright, I'm going to have to find a cap because I've either dropped one and haven't found it yet, or I've got a supply that's got an extra cap or something. 135. All right, I think I probably have one. All right, good night, David. Oh yeah, I have been so. All right, good night, Trina. And yeah, I'm so focused on this supply that I have been neglecting the chat, and I apologize. And now I gotta go find a capacitor that because I have. Oh, hi Garth, welcome. All right, I gotta find a capacitor because I've either the kit was missing a capacitor or I've lost it, or somehow both. Both could be true. The kit could have been short a capacitor, but I've lost the one I'm looking for. All right, 100 microfarad, 35 volt. All right, let me see what I got. I have to borrow one from another kit. Oh, good. It's even the right size. All right, so I found in my stash of spare capacitors a 50 volt 100 microfarad cap, which will probably work just fine. All right, let me clean potential. Unfortunately, I see you all talking about the drugstores that we have in the U.S. I I think Rite Aid is headed the way of the dodo bird. Although I do certainly wish them the best of luck in their bankruptcy proceedings. All right, so there we go. Now that cap is replaced. All right. I think we have 4 more electrolytics on this board and 2 on the daughter board. I am. Yeah, see, David says, do not pull a Steve. If you followed that path, it will forever dominate your destiny. And, yeah, a bunch of chat on drugstores. Okay, let's take a look at these caps the four I just replaced, and then we'll get to more caps. So this one is 220/35, and it's in spec. This one's that 35/100, and it's in spec. This may end up being a preemptive recap. That's a 470/16, it's in spec. And then this is that like 4.7. Alright, well, looks like its ESR might have been a bit high, but alright. Give that replacement a green dot. Alright, let's get these. There's 4 caps here. And then we'll get the ones on the daughter board. And I'll see if I can't dust this off a bit before I put it back together. Alright, so... Alright, let's just start with this one on the corner. Yeah, smash that like button if you like it when I'm focused on the art of recapping a difficult to disassemble power supply that so far I haven't found anything that I think is indicative of like it needing recapped yesterday. But as I was saying, this is for my Quadra. The Quadras are some of the best the 68K Max had. So we're going to recap it. I guess I can't complain if I'm recapping it before it leaks. Because that just means there's no trace damage. Alright, so this is a 1016. Okay, now that looks a bit... Okay, that looks yellow underneath, which... So far, none of the other caps have looked that bad. I'm using a dry Q-tip, and nothing came up, so that may not be electrolyte. That could just be... Oh, that might be glue. That might be glue from the factory. And flux. Alright, well, it cleaned up. Let's see here. 1016. That's going to be this cap here. Alright, if I can get through this power supply, then the next computer on my list is my Macintosh SE. And while I would like my jcm-1.com order, I can start on that tonight because I don't really need that to start on it. That will be helpful for continuing on it because I ordered one of the adapters that lets you plug the... Yes, you did hear jcm-1.com. Yes, I ordered one of the SE combo vid things. So I can power my SE30 SE and SE30 logic boards up with an ATX power supply and plug them into a VGA monitor so I can bench diagnose them. And I even ordered the Mac Plus adapter. And hopefully soon there'll be the I think I've heard a rumor about the 128K 512K adapter that there will be one at some point, hopefully soon. Because I have a stack of 512K boards that don't work. And those I would really like to try to repair. And I would really like to try to repair them out of the case. Yes, please go buy things from Joe. Joe makes great things. He has great friends that make great things that Joe sells. Joe is a great friend of the channel. So please go buy things from Joe. Hopefully he will have his web store back up. I think he took a brief pause while he was making sure that his web host was actually working correctly, and while he caught up with shipping from where Linode was down over the weekend. So hopefully he will have it. Joe is even dropping a hint. His next magic thing is Apple II related. Ooh. So yeah, go check Joe's store out, and if he's still has it on pause from recovering from this weekend's kerfuffle with Linode, well, he'll be back up soon. Or Joe can comment if he's like still paused orders or if he's taking them yet. So if he's paused orders, then it's going to make things pretty. Yes, that's an actual hint. 2200. All right, well, it's easy. All right, well, let's clean that up. It's going to make things pretty. Joe, are you going to start selling Barbies? Actually, there is a fundraiser, and if I could find the link, I may have to put it in the comments because I don't have the link. Hi, Adam. Welcome. If I can find the link, I will put it in the chat. There is a fundraiser for the all right, I am probably going to butcher the name of the organization. It's this actually, hold on. I think I know where I put the link. Oh, hold on. I know how to get the link. All right, I think no, I did not put the link there. Oh. It's for the Women's Engineering Society. Which I know that's not their name, but I know I'm going to butcher the name, which is why I made myself a note somewhere, and it just dawned on me. And now I'm trying to remember where I stuck the note. Oh, that's right. I remember where it is now. Sorry. I made a bookmark. No, I did not bookmark it. No, we do not want to search those terms. Hold, please. I'm going to find the. Now I am definitely going to find the link because now I'm annoyed at why I can't find the link. All right. There we go. Let's share the link. Copy link. Go to YouTube. let's see here. View my current live stream on my phone. Oh, well, that's interesting. You know, YouTube, it would be really handy if you would let creators see their own live stream on your app in the phone so that they can copy a link from their phone and paste it in the chat. Oh, I think I now remember where I put the note, because it is... Of course, by the time I get back to the chat, I'm going to probably find that someone has realized which fundraiser I'm talking about and has put the link in the chat. All right. Okay, fine. I'm probably going to have to copy and paste it later, because it's the... Yeah, I posted it to my Facebook page, but that doesn't help most of you. All right, so it's the it's a fundraiser to support women in STEM. And if they meet their goal, they're going to raffle that Barbie. The fan creation there. But of course it would be... Oh, and they're 97% of their way to their goal. So let me see here. Oh, here we go. That will not help me at all. So I copy the link. And then where can I put the link that I can get to on my PC? That is the question. All right. New blank file. Oh, here we go. Maybe... Oh. Yeah, hold on. Here we go. Ha! Sometimes you just have to, like... There we go. All right, I got the link. Let me double check I copied the link correctly. There we go. It's for the Society of Women Engineers. I knew I would get the name wrong. So anyways, here's the link. You can check out the Barbie. And they're 97% of their way to their goal. And the proceeds go to the Society of Women Engineers. So go check that out. All right. It's not Mac related, but it's Apple related. Ah, okay. Thank you, Joe. Hardware hacker, are you pulling a Steve, losing stuff on stream? Yeah. Yes, I guess I am pulling a Steve, Jack says. Justin is good at losing stuff on stream, too. You should have put an air tag on that note. Yeah. All right, I got the fundraisers in the chat. Joe says, I lost an entire Apple III lid in a room that is 16 by 16 feet. The lid was like 2 by 2 of those feet, so I'm still not sure how I accomplished that. Skills. I found it eventually on the rack with the Apple IIIs, where it belonged. Oh. Jesse says, lesson is to never put anything away. Yeah. All right, yeah, do not search for the Barbie. Because depending on how you spell it, you're either going to spell it wrong, or let's just say that some of the search results are unsavory. We're going to leave it at that. Okay, moving on. Let's continue recapping the board now that I found the link I was looking for. All right, here we go. Get this capped in. Yeah, the name of the fundraising site is interesting. I can only presume that they were going for something that sounded like Give Better, but maybe that's trademarked by someone, so they had to go with Give Butter. I don't know. Anyways, go check the fundraiser out. You can see the Apple IIe. I think it even says who did it. They did a good job. It's very, very unique. And I think their deadline's August 1st, so even if you can't give to the fundraiser, maybe you might consider sharing their fundraising link on social media. Yeah, their logo is kind of funny. Hardware hackers like unsavory like the dumb movie. No, unsavory like not safe for Justin's stream. Ooh, all right, let's get rid of this glue here if I can. I don't know if that's the kind of glue that turns conductive, but it certainly doesn't look good. Jesse says it's better than give margarine. Yeah. Jack says NSFJS. Yeah. Oh, Jack may have. Oh, and Hardware Hacker said it too. Yeah. Actually, I think where I'm from, there's a term for that. It's called jinx. When you both say the same thing at the same time. I was texting Chris about something on Friday, and yeah, we were apparently on the same wavelength during part of our discussion. Yeah. All right. All right. And for anyone that was wondering how long it would take me to spill the isopropyl alcohol, it has been spilled. I'm going to have to pour more. Well, I don't think that's a new record, but right. Okay, and let's see here. There should be one more cap. Ooh, oh yeah. It is, I think it's this one here. I feel like that's one of the legs of that cap. Oh yeah. All right, that's it. All right. Then I think that's the last cap on this board. And then we'll get to the daughter board, and then, as crazy as it may seem, seems like it'll be time to reassemble. Claris got emptied on Dave's stream yesterday. Will probably be good for this recapping. In fact, actually, I cleaned it at the beginning of the stream when I put a new filter in it. So, honestly, I should probably empty it at the end of the stream. But I could probably go like 4 to 6 hours of intermittent desoldering, and it would probably be fine. You only really need to empty it when it's suffering, and you can tell it's suffering because the audio pitch will change. All right, so I'm pretty sure. Yeah, that has to be this cap here. Yep. The filters seem to last every couple emptyings, as long as you're gentle taking it apart and putting it back together. Yeah, it seems to be a decent capacity. Now, one thing I don't do, or I hardly ever do, because it will shorten the time between cleanings, is I don't put flux on the board before using it. Because flux will gum up the filter. So I don't use flux when I use it, because that'll gum up the filter. All right. So there's those 4 caps. I think that's all the electrolytics on this board. Unless there's one enclosed in shrink wrap that I don't see. I think that's a inductor. Yeah, those are not caps. All right. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, so let me zoom out just a little bit, and let me clean the flux off the bottom of this board real quick. Because a clean board is a happy board, or something like that. Oh, that's right. I am going to have to put the daughter board back on. All right, well, okay. I'm going to clean the flux off the parts of the board that I'm done with. That way, I'll put the daughter board on, spot clean the flux, and all right. All right, there we go. Let's get the daughter board. I think the daughter board has 2 electrolytic caps on it. All right. Oh, I should test those big caps first. That's a 2.250. All right. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Not marked as well as the main board, but there we go. I'm gonna make sure I get the cap in as close to where it was as possible. I don't think this cap has a potential. Actually, neither of them may have a height problem. But anyways, there's that one. And then I have 2 caps left, but I think that's because I managed to pick a cap up off the floor that I did not drop tonight. So I will still though double check. Um, okay, I think I guessed wrong. Is that it? Well, there we go. There we go. I think I got it now. I tried following pads and or all right. There we go. That one looks a little grubby underneath it. Hey, Mike's Future Retro, welcome. All right, so this cap that I just removed was I think a 1 microfarad, or oh, it was a 4.750. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, I think the one I picked up off the floor I dropped yesterday during Dave's stream. All right, I won't fret about it too much. So, that, There we go. And I think that's all the capacitors. All right. All right. Let me go ahead and double check. All right. So, yep, I only see 2 electrolytics on that board, so that's good there. And one got those. I got those. I got those. I don't see any hiding here. And then I got the 4 here. Okay, I think that's good. So we'll go ahead and all right. Well, yep. Yep. All right. Hold, please. All right. So I just had to remove that cap because it's interfering with the daughter board. All right. I will have to. I'll have to see if I got another cap to put in that spot because I should have not put it so close to the board. All right. This one here. Oh, apply a little flux here because those 2 pins wanted to bridge together and they are not connected together. All right. There we go. All right. Oh, that's right. I got one cap to replace. So it was the 16 25 volt 180 microfarad, which was originally a 220 microfarad. Let me double check the original. Yeah, it was a 220 35. Oh. All right. Oh, it's probably just as well that I found that mistake because I think the cap I put in there was going to be the wrong one anyways, which means I either dropped a cap and haven't realized it, or this power supply has a different cap at that location. All right, so let me see if I've got a cap I can swipe from another kit, because that'll be the quickest way to finish this. All right, can't swipe one from that kit. Fortunately, it's kind of a weird value. I might still have one. All right. Okay. Let me see what I've got. Looking for a 220 35. Well, actually, first let's test the rest of these caps here. All right, that's 1,000 microfarad. Well, that one's in spec. This one's a 1,500, which that one's in spec. Because I'm assuming these are plus or minus 20% caps. This is a 2,200. Yep, that's in spec. I suspect all. Oh, hi, Stian. Welcome. I suspect all of these are going to be in. Yep, that one's in spec. That one is 2.2 microfarad. I mean that one might be in spec for such a small cap. And this is I think a 4.7 50 volt. Oh wow, that one I think might actually be out of spec. Oh yeah, that's pretty high ESR. Okay, so let me see. Let me see what I have to replace the cap that I'm just looking to make sure I didn't like drop a cap. If I dropped a cap, maybe the cap I dropped is the one that actually came in the kit. And that was just a random cap that happened to be on my bench. All right, let me see what I got over in the spare cap. Okay. All right. I found a 220 microfarad 25 volt. So I'm going to assume that maybe this supply was built with the 35 volt cap because that's what they had on hand. Because the kit seemingly came with a 25 volt part for this position. So I'm going to risk it. All right, it's the same capacitance as the original cap. It is a lower voltage, but it's the same voltage as the one that was in the kit to replace it. So I mean, 35 volts did seem to be kind of a high voltage for that part of the board, but all right. There we go. And that wraps the recapping. There we go. Very nice. One recapped board. Now, I do need to take care of this fan. It is quite the dusty fan. let me see if I can find a brush. There we go. I'm just gonna. All right, there we go. And I would like to blow some air through it, but I don't know what I did with my duster because it's probably over. No, not over there. 'Cause there's my hot glue gun. There's my reciprocating saw. And wait a minute. Oh, is that it right there? No, that's a drill. Yes, every Ryobi tool but the air duster. Ah. And my circular saw. I don't know, that I would not have down in the basement. All right. Well, I'll dust it later. Okay. Let's see if I can't put this thing back together. All right. So we've got this board, which is all nicely recapped. And this board's recapped. And this module's recapped. Oh, that's right. I need to put a little bit of heat shrink tubing on that wire because I managed to nick it somehow, and it does appear to be a low voltage wire in a high voltage area of the power supply. All right. Let's see here if I can find a pin removal tool, or the pin removal tool for that style pin. Actually, that one will work right there. I think what I want to do is push the wire in. Then push it in. I think I can push the tab there. Pull the wire in out. No. Um, oh, maybe I got another idea. Okay. If at first you can't get the connector off, maybe I can. No, that's too big. All right, that's all right. Well, there's another way to fix this. The more difficult way, but I can't seem to get that pin out. So instead, I'm going to desolder the wire from the other side. And put the heat shrink tubing on that way. All right. And then I'll have to fish the wire back in. Worst comes to worst, I'll have to desolder the. All right. All right. Get this wire out eventually, and then I can fix the nick in it. Or I'm going to figure out I can't get that wire out, and I'll try another way. Maybe I'm just going to get electrical tape. All right. Let's see here. I don't. Okay. Um. All right. Let's see here. What is the... Oh, by the way, Gupom, I saw your question on Discord, and the answer is no. No, you did not. Now, I'm trying to fix a nick in a wire. These are low voltage wires that are near high voltage wires, and one of them has a nick, and I can't get the connector end off. I can't get the wire end out without major disassembly. So that's that's just outright too big. Right, can I not get the pin out? All right. Is this one of those pins? Stick it in. And normally with these connectors, and I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to not stab myself. All right. All right. I guess I'm going to have to. No, I really don't want to use Captain tape because it's not flexible. Okay. Do I not have electrical tape down here? I probably do have electrical tape down here somewhere. It's a question of. All right. How can I fix that? I really want to use heat shrink, but I can't get the wire off. I don't think I've got electrical tape. Of course, that can come loose. Well, I've got electrical tape somewhere, but that's an awfully small wire to try to tape and it not come off. Okay. not get one of these? No. All right. I'm trying to see if I got a piece of heat shrink tubing that's smaller than the one I found that clearly goes over the connector. Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. All right. Found one. Sorry, I guess I've been off camera. All right. Okay. Let's heat shrink this real quick. Hopefully it shrinks enough. All right, that should probably work fine. All right. Okay, I think that shrunk enough that it'll. It's not going to move far enough to cause a problem with the broken insulation on one of the wires. Okay. Okay. So now let's put this power supply back together again. Which I think means I need to first figure out, or first remember how this board goes in. I think it went in like, no, it wasn't that. It went in like, you would think I would remember, but oh, there we go. It goes in like that. Yeah, two insulators and then a metal screw. Okay. So that means in order to put that back, I need to solder the two wires from this module back, which means the wires need to go through here. So that is the live wire. Oh no, that goes through here. And that's the neutral wire. Oh, no wonder I desoldered that there. That is the most awkwardest wire arrangement. All right. All right, there we go. Those two boards are back together again. Let me do a little flux cleaning. Okay. All right. Now, so this piece. There we go. All right, so that's started in. And then this goes there and there. I'm not going to push that down all the way just yet. All right, and then there's a screw under there. All right, where did I put the? All right, hold. Pretty sure that does not go there. All right. Sure that goes there. That's going to go there. this goes. This is gonna go like that. There's a little notch there. I'm trying to not push everything in all the way. Because this wait a minute, where does that plug into? All right, because this board goes here. All right, there's a third plug here somewhere that I'm overlooking. Oh, that's right. This plugs into this top board. That's right. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yep. We're good. All right. So I can push this board in all the way. Oh, which looks like I probably already did. All right. I think it's on the standoffs. All right. Oh, there's the star washer I was looking for. Okay. There we go. All right. So I got this board pushed in. The shield back on. All the way in. There we go. That's all the way in. These are in. I am inverting the order of putting that screw in. Okay, that plugs into the top board. This goes in down here. This plugs into here. The only place it makes sense. There's that power connector. Alright, plug in the live neutral. Ground connection. Oh, that's right. I gotta put a screw in. Oh, hold on. Forgot about something. Alright. Alright. I hope I'm putting this back together right. If not, well, I'll get to take it apart again. Okay, so this... Oh, that is not the right screw for that. Alright. That is this one here. Okay, there we go. There's that. Okay. Then we have a nut that holds the shield on over here. It had a star washer on it. That's a good one. Well, I at least want to reassemble it correctly. Where grounds are Steven says, why did the chicken cross the road? Get away from hardware hackers, dad jokes. Alright. Yes. Don't do that. No. Alright. There we go. There we go. Alright. Alright. There we go. There's that. I do like that's pretty much in there. All right. So I think we've got 4 screws. Yeah. Okay. I think yeah, I think we're doing good. All right. So this passes down like so, down in there. Need to get it close. All right. That I gotta plug in after this. So one thing I've done before with these power supplies is forgot to plug in the line voltage. Fun fact, power supplies do not work without line voltage. No matter how much you would like them to work on lower voltages so that the caps were less scary to service. Um, all right. Did, oh, hold on. Did I oh, yep, I did plug that in. All right, so I got the. I did remember to plug the coil in for the relay. There we go. I got that board in. Now I just have to finagle the power supply connector. There we go. It's far enough in. So now, yeah, there we go. I think that's right. All right, there's that. I got. I did. Yeah, plug that back in. Pretty sure I did. Let me just double check. Well, actually, if I forgot to plug it in, well, I don't have a monitor that makes use of the power pass through anyways, so it's not like I would probably notice my mistake right away. That and that. Okay, there we go. Now there is a shield that goes here because that's where the high voltage part of the circuit is. And the fan plugs in. Like so. I think I got it in. Not quite. There we go. Got the fan in. All right, slide the fan Oh, hold on. There we go. All right. When putting the fan back in, don't forget that there is part of the plastic that rides on front. There we go. Excellent. All right, now oh, I just realized. Yeah, you have to start the fan. There we go. Weird, it's not. Oh, all right. There we go. And oh, excellent. I don't have any extra screws. And as far as I know, I didn't have any missing screws either. There we go. And excellent. And it will, as Stian says, it'll work just fine on the first trap. Considering there was no electrolyte damage, I am fully expecting that it's going to just work. There we go. One recapped. Quadra 650 power supply. Dave says, I've been here. Don't jinx it now. Don't jinx it. And what better way to test it than to test it with the system it came out of? Because, well, that's what we have for testing. I knew where the Quadra was. I wasn't about to misplace a Quadra. Dave says, remember. Remember, he has air tags. Jack says, I'm sorry I doubted you. Yeah, if I was going to forget where I put a Mac, it would be the Performa 600. Because the Performa 600 might as well have been named like generic appliances. Like Duratool. All right. Oh, I completely forgot what I was. All right, there we go. We got power. I don't have a keyboard plugged in, but I'll use the power button on the back. I don't have a Blue SCSI or anything installed, so it's not like it. Oh, wait. Is there not a power button on the back? Oh, there it is. Oh, I may not have a battery in here. I may have to do the. Oh, no, wait a minute. That's weird. Yeah, we had a chime, and you can't see the. Hold on. Oh, that's weird. You can't see the image because I can only see it on my multi-sync monitor. Let's see. I'm on VGA 1. Oh, I. Hold on. I have two of these adapters, and I think that one is currently set for sync on green. That's probably why. Yeah, alright, let me find the instructions for it. Recap the capture card. Alright, let's see here. Alright, let me see here. Hold on. There we go. All right, so the settings for this adapter here are all right. So I just want to set. All right. I think I just want to set separate sync. So that means I need B8 on and A5 on. All right. Let me make sure. Yeah, B8 and A5 separate sync. All right. Now for the Quadra 650. Actually, let's just do A345 and B8. That should be 640 by 480 separate sync. All right. That should be something my scaler likes. And yes, there was a chime. We have another chime. Okay, we don't have a video image yet. There we go. There we go. The fan actually seems to be nice and quiet. Yeah, the aspect ratio is wrong because reasons. I think I wanted pan and scan. There we go. Ah, there we go. Yes, its interpretation of the video signal does leave a lot to be desired. But we got a power supply, and it's recapped, and it's working. So there we go. The main thing is the refas are now out of that power supply, so I don't have to worry about them deciding to throw a temper tantalum, but they're refa caps. I don't have to worry about them throwing a party that they weren't invited to. And there you go. Power supply, the Quadra, and yeah, I'll have to put a blue SCSI in it, but the power supply was the main thing I wanted to work on. So anyways, I think that probably as good a place as any to stop. Let me see what Norton LifeLock is complaining about here. Oh yeah. Yep. I figured that's what the message appeared on social media was. All right. Well, I will have to deal with that momentarily. And let's see here. So we've got the yeah. Oh yeah, I'm about to wrap the stream because I gotta go clean up messages on social media. Anyways, we got the Quadra 650 power supply recap, so that's one thing off my list. So anyways, if you like it when I get these power supplies all back together and no missing or extra screws and everything's good, then yeah, hit that like button, subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I go live next. Thursday, I think I am going to look at the Mac SE that has some rust in it. I'm going to see what I can do about cleaning it up, replacing rusty parts, and putting it back together so that I can put the Mac Effects accelerator board that I have in it. So yeah, it doesn't have battery damage, but I think the system was stored or got some water in it. It might have been stored on the floor of a damp basement because the metal frame had rust on it, and where the logic board touched the metal frame that had rust, it's got rust on it. So anyways, we're going to work on that Thursday because I would like to try out my Mac Effects accelerator. So yes, Jack's asking, is it fixed yet? Yes. So anyways, with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining, hanging out in the chat, being awesome. And with that, I'm going to draw the stream to a close so I can do some social media cleanup. With that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care, and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.